All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Oh, a classic.
Yeah, and we could spend hours going through the entire book.
Absolutely.
So it's like a cheat sheet for unlocking success and wealth creation.
I like it. That sounds good.
So what's really interesting about Think and Grow Rich, and you can correct me if I'm wrong,
Okay.
is that it seems like it goes beyond just money, right?
Yeah, it's really about using the power of thought
Right.
to achieve anything you want.
Yeah.
It's really a roadmap, I think,
Yeah.
to just personal growth and fulfillment, really.
That's really interesting.
More than just your bank account.
Yeah, yeah. And so let's unpack that first big idea, the power of thought.
Okay.
So Hill argues that our thoughts aren't just fleeting things.
Right.
They actually can shape our reality.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a pretty bold statement.
It is a pretty bold statement.
I mean, is that, how far does that go?
Well, he uses this analogy of the seed,
Okay.
and I think it's a really powerful way to explain it.
Okay.
Think about a tiny seed,
Right.
how it contains the blueprint for this massive tree, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same way with our thoughts.
Oh, okay.
When they're nurtured with desire and with action,
Yeah.
they can grow into actual tangible success.
So our minds are like gardens. We need to be careful what we're planting.
Exactly.
I like that. Okay.
And this is not some new agey concept either. This has been around forever.
Right. Right.
Think about, historical figures like Gandhi or
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
They started with an idea, a vision
Right.
of a better world.
Yeah.
And their belief, their thoughts, their unwavering thoughts
Yeah.
help them to do incredible things.
That's a really interesting point. It makes you realize that we all have this incredible power within us, but
Yeah.
it's not just like daydreaming, right?
No.
You need action.
Exactly.
So that brings us to our second takeaway, burning desire.
Yes, a burning desire. I love that.
So
thing.
wishing for something, it's not enough.
It's not enough.
You need that drive.
You need that drive.
That really consumes you.
It consumes
Or
you.
pushes you forward, right?
Yes, it's that do or die attitude.
Okay.
It's what makes all the difference.
And the YouTube summary uses a really intense example, like a warrior who, after landing on enemy territory,
Right.
burns his ships.
Wow.
So there's no retreat.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
There's no other option but to conquer, right?
Wow, that's powerful.
So it really shows how committed you need to be, right?
When you have that desire,
Yeah.
obstacles just become challenges
Okay.
to overcome, not reasons to quit.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
Now, how do you cultivate a burning desire, though?
Right. That's the question, right?
Well, Hill outlines a 6-step method
Okay, now we're talking.
for transforming desire into reality.
So there's a method to this.
There is.
I like that.
Yes.
So can you walk us through those steps?
Yeah, so first you've got to get specific.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, I want to be rich,
Right. Vague.
you determine the exact amount of money you want to accumulate.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Second,
Oh.
figure out what you're going to give in return. What value will you provide to earn this wealth?
Oh, okay.
Third, set a deadline.
Okay.
It creates agency,
Oh, I see.
keeps you accountable.
Okay.
Fourth, create a plan
Right.
and start taking action immediately.
No delay.
Okay. Number 5, write it all down
Okay.
in a clear statement.
A statement of your goal.
Exactly.
Okay.
Finally, and this is a great one,
Okay.
read this statement aloud twice daily, ideally right when you wake up
Okay.
and before bed.
So it's like,
This reinforces your commitment,
yeah.
embeds that desire deep in your subconscious.
That's like programming your own success.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how he breaks it down.
Into tangible steps.
But even with a burning desire and a great plan,
Yeah, right.
you're going to run into roadblocks.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And that's where persistence comes in.
Persistence, yes.
So Hill actually describes persistence as the carbon in steel.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. It gives you strength and resilience
Yeah.
to withstand those inevitable challenges
You're going to face challenges.
along the way.
Yeah, you got to push through.
And he uses a great example. Henry Ford demanding that his engineers create an 8-cylinder engine in a single block.
Oh, wow.
And they said it was impossible, it couldn't be done.
Right.
But he didn't take no for an answer.
He wouldn't take no.
And eventually, they found a way.
They found a way. That's persistence.
That's the power of unwavering belief.
Yes.
So it's not about things being easy.
No.
It's about pushing through and adapting and finding a way.
To make it work.
No, we don't want to be blindly stubborn.
No, not at all.
Right.
No.
There's a difference between persistence and banging your head against the wall.
There is.
It's about knowing when to pivot,
Yes,
when to adjust your strategy,
exactly.
but never losing sight of that end goal.
Exactly. Now, this next one might surprise you.
Okay.
It's about the power of sexual energy.
Okay, so this is where things get a little interesting.
It gets interesting.
I can already hear the listeners wondering where this is going.
I know. So just to clarify,
Right,
Hill isn't suggesting,
right,
you need to be overly active.
right.
He's talking about recognizing the power of this energy and channeling it towards your goals.
Oh, okay.
It's about harnessing the drive.
So like a raw primal energy.
Yes, a creative force.
That we can transform into something productive.
Exactly.
Rather than letting it fizzle out, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
I'm curious, how do you think this concept applies in today's world, though?
Oh, that's a great question.
We are bombarded with distractions.
Right. All the time.
Things that can really drain our energy.
Yeah, it's almost like our focus and energy is even more important now.
It's crucial.
Because we're constantly being pulled in a million different directions.
A million different directions, yeah.
It's about consciously choosing where to direct your attention.
Yes, and resisting those distractions.
It's so hard these days.
It is.
It makes me wonder if we're losing touch with that ability, with all these notifications and instant gratification all the time.
That's a great point, and it actually ties in perfectly with our next topic.
Okay.
Conquering fear.
Okay, now this is a big one.
This is a big one.
Because fear can hold us back from so much.
According to Hill, it's the biggest obstacle to success.
Oh, wow.
He actually identifies 6 core fears.
Okay, so before we dive into the fears,
Okay.
I want to pause for a second because something that really struck me about these first few points is this whole idea of self-mastery.
Oh, interesting.
It's like whether it's mastering our thoughts or desires.
Or our energy.
It feels like Think and Grow Rich is really a guide to taking control of our own minds.
Yeah, that's a great observation.
Right.
It is. And it actually leads perfectly to conquering fear. Because if we can't master our fears, they'll master us.
Right. Exactly.
So Hill identifies 6 core fears.
Okay, let's name them.
That hold us back on the path to success.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the fear of poverty.
Okay.
The fear of criticism.
Right.
The fear of ill health.
Okay.
The fear of loss of love.
Right.
The fear of old age.
Okay.
And the fear of death.
Wow, that's quite a lineup.
It is, right.
These fears are, like, deeply ingrained in the human experience.
Yes, very much so.
I mean, how can we not be afraid of those things?
Right, but Hill argues we need to confront them head on.
Okay.
To the point where they no longer have power over us.
Easier said than done?
Oh, much easier said than done.
But I think the YouTube summary does give some specific examples of how these fears show up in our lives.
It does.
So, like, for example, the fear of poverty can lead to indifference towards money, a lack of ambition.
Right, because if you're consumed by the fear of scarcity, your mind just can't focus on building wealth and abundance.
Makes sense.
It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, right.
So Hill's is just reaching a point of acceptance.
Oh.
That whatever you are able to acquire while giving your all is enough.
Oh.
And that frees you from the grip of that fear.
Oh, I see.
So you can focus on what you can control.
So shifting your mindset from, I don't have enough, to, like, I have what I need and I'm working towards more.
Yes.
But wouldn't that acceptance, in a way, limit your potential?
That's a great question.
Wouldn't it make you complacent?
And it highlights the nuance of Hill's thinking.
Okay.
It's not about settling.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that obsessing over what you lack won't bring you any closer to what you want.
It's about focusing your energy on creating value and taking action.
Yes.
Rather than being paralyzed by that fear.
Exactly. So
finding that balance between contentment with the present.
Yes.
And ambition for the future.
I like that. That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so fear of criticism. What about that one?
Fear of criticism.
The summary says it can really crush your initiative.
Yes.
Make you nervous in social situations.
Absolutely.
So it's that voice in your head, what if they judge me?
What if I mess up?
What if they don't like it?
Exactly.
And that can be so paralyzing.
It can be so paralyzing.
Hill says, and this might sound a little radical,
okay,
to stop worrying about what other people think.
Just stop worrying.
Yeah, like dare to be yourself.
Dare to be yourself.
Express your ideas, even if you think they're a little out there.
Embrace the cringe.
Embrace the cringe.
As they say.
But it's funny, right?
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, you're told to be authentic.
Right.
And on the other hand, you're told to fit in and, get approval.
It's a tricky balance.
So how do we reconcile those two things?
I think it comes down to recognizing that you can't please everyone.
Right.
You just can't. And what matters is staying true to yourself.
Okay.
And your vision.
Yeah.
Even if it means facing some criticism along the way.
Even if it means getting some negative feedback.
Yeah. Remember, even the most successful people
in
the world have their critics.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is the fear of ill health.
Okay.
And the source material actually says a symptom of this is faking illness.
Really?
As an excuse for laziness.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
It's almost like we're using fear as a way to stay comfortable.
Yeah, like an excuse to stay in your comfort zone.
Yeah, and not challenge yourself.
Right, because it's easier to avoid challenges
Right.
if we can convince ourselves that we're not up to the task.
Exactly.
But Hill challenges us to shift our focus away from symptoms.
Okay.
Stop worrying about every little ache and pain, because he says that dwelling on potential illness only makes it worse.
Right, yeah, and I'm so guilty of this.
Oh.
Like Googling symptoms, that's like my...
The rabbit hole.
Yeah, like a little knowledge can be a dangerous thing, right?
Absolutely.
So it's about choosing to focus on health
Yes.
and vitality and taking care of your body and mind.
Exactly.
Rather than always dwelling on what could go wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, what about the fear of loss of love?
Fear of loss of love.
I mean, we all crave connection and belonging.
We do.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it's so easy to get caught up in those fears.
Yeah.
Of rejection, of abandonment, of feeling unlovable.
Feeling unlovable, yeah.
So what do we do about that one?
So the YouTube summary suggests a pretty radical approach.
Okay, I'm ready.
They say you need to make a decision
Okay.
that you can get along without love if necessary.
Oh, that's tough.
It sounds extreme,
Okay.
but the idea is to cultivate
Right.
self-love and independence.
So it's like that saying, you can't love anyone else until you love yourself.
Exactly.
If you're content with yourself, with your own company, then the love that you find becomes a bonus.
It's a bonus.
Yeah.
Not a necessity.
As a necessity.
You're not dependent on external validation.
That's a good point. Okay.
Now let's tackle fear of old age.
Oh, the fear of old age. Yeah.
It's interesting how the source material
Right.
characterizes this fear.
Okay.
It's like speaking apologetically about one's age.
It's almost like
we've been conditioned to believe that aging is something to be ashamed of.
Right. It's a decline rather than a progression.
So sad.
Which is so sad because aging is a privilege.
It is a privilege.
It's not a punishment.
It's not a punishment.
Yeah.
And Hill actually challenges this head on.
Okay.
He encourages us to embrace aging
Okay.
as a process of growth and wisdom,
Okay.
not a descent into irrelevance.
Yeah. And hopefully by then, all those years of hard work and smart financial decisions
Exactly.
have paid off.
They've paid off. You're set.
Thanks to compound interest.
Compound interest.
Which is a great example of persistence and long-term thinking.
It is. It is.
Okay, so finally we come to the fear of death.
Fear of death, the big one.
Perhaps the most universal fear.
Yeah, I think so.
And the YouTube summary suggests that dwelling on death prevents us from fully living.
It does.
It's like that saying, worrying about death is like sitting in a rocking chair and never rocking.
That's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
Hill's point is that obsessing over the inevitable doesn't bring happiness.
It doesn't.
Or fulfillment.
No.
We should focus on living our lives to the fullest.
Absolutely.
Embracing each moment.
Each and every moment.
Making the most of the time that we have.
Yes.
Which ties back to that self-mastery thing, right?
It does.
It's about taking control of our thoughts and choosing to focus on what we can control.
We can control.
Rather than dwelling on what we can't.
Right. And I think it's about accepting
that
death is just a natural part of life.
Yeah.
Our energy is better spent creating a life worth living.
Right. So how do we shift our focus from fear to action, though?
That's a great question.
That's something I think a lot of us struggle with.
And it's one we're going to delve into after.
We don't have a break this time.
No breaks.
So we're diving straight into part 3.
Part 3, here we go.
All right, so why don't you tell the listeners what they can expect?
All right, so buckle up.
Okay.
Because we're going to unpack some practical strategies
Oh, nice.
for transforming fear into fuel
I like
on
this.
your journey to success.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So we've talked about these 6 core fears that Hill says can, hold us back.
Yeah.
But just knowing what they are, it's only half the battle, right?
It's true.
How do we actually overcome them? What are the practical steps?
Right. It's about turning knowledge into action. He'll believe that knowledge without action is useless.
Right.
Like having a treasure map, but never going to find the treasure,
So where do we even begin with that?
Well, I think, one of the first steps is just acknowledging the fear.
Okay.
Like, don't try to push it away.
Don't pretend it's not there.
Or pretend it doesn't exist, right?
Right.
Name it. Understand its root.
Okay.
And examine how it's holding you back.
It's like shining a light on the monster under the bed.
Exactly.
It's less scary when you can actually see it.
It is.
Yeah.
So then you challenge the fear.
Okay, so how do we do that?
You ask yourself, is this fear, is it based in reality?
Okay.
Or is it just a story I'm telling myself?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
A lot of times our fears are rooted in, past experiences or limiting beliefs that no longer serve us.
So it's like becoming a detective of our own minds. Like really interrogating those negative thoughts and questioning whether they're actually valid.
What evidence do we have?
Yeah, like are we letting past failures dictate our future?
Exactly. You've got to get curious about your own thought patterns.
Yeah.
And as you challenge those fears, you start to replace them with positive affirmations.
So instead of saying, I can't do this, you say,
I am capable, or I'm willing to learn and grow.
So consciously shifting your self-talk.
Yes, exactly.
So it's like training our minds to focus on possibilities instead of limitations.
I love that.
And it goes back to that power of thought we were talking about.
It does.
Like the more you feed those positive thoughts, the stronger they become.
Absolutely.
What about visualization?
Visualization is huge. Yeah, imagine yourself achieving those goals,
Yes.
overcoming the obstacles,
Okay.
living the life that you desire.
Okay.
Create that vivid mental picture of success.
I've heard athletes talk about this.
Yes.
They visualize themselves winning the race or making the perfect shot.
Exactly. It's like creating a mental movie
Yeah.
of your own success story.
And then your mind starts to believe it's actually possible.
Your mind starts to believe it.
Yeah. And then don't forget about taking action, right?
Action. Yes, taking action is huge.
Even small steps can build that momentum.
Small steps.
It can boost your confidence.
Exactly.
It's about proving to yourself that you're actually capable of making progress.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, right?
Right, exactly. But sometimes that first step feels the hardest.
It does, especially when fear's holding you back.
Yeah, so persistence is key.
Persistence is key, yeah.
There will be setbacks.
Absolutely.
There will be challenges.
There will be challenges.
That's where your commitment's really tested.
Right.
So it's about getting back up and dusting yourself off and just continuing to move forward.
You got to keep going.
So it sounds like conquering these fears is a journey, not a destination.
It's an ongoing journey, absolutely.
It's about challenging yourself, pushing your boundaries.
It is.
And learning from every experience.
Learning from every experience.
It reminds me of that self-mastery thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's not about reaching this perfect state of fearlessness.
Right.
It's about having the tools and the mindset to navigate those fears.
When they inevitably arise.
Yeah, because they will come up.
They will.
Right.
It's a process of continuous growth and self-discovery.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
So to sum it all up, Think and Grow Rich teaches us that our thoughts are incredibly powerful.
They are.
By harnessing that power, by cultivating a burning desire, embracing persistence, and conquering our fears,
Yes.
we can unlock incredible potential
Yes.
within ourselves.
Within ourselves, absolutely.
And it's not just about creating wealth, it's about creating a life of purpose
Exactly.
and fulfillment.
And it's a timeless message
It really is.
that resonates just as strongly today
Absolutely.
as it did when Hill first wrote it.
It's a reminder that we are the architects of our own reality.
We are.
And on that note, I want to leave you with a question.
Okay.
If our thoughts really do shape our reality,
Yeah.
what kind of future are you thinking into existence right now?
That's a great question.
Are you planting seeds of fear and doubt, or are you nurturing a vision of abundance and success and fulfillment?
It's up to you.
The choice is yours.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Think and Grow Rich.
My pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
As we have.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
All right, so we've explored these 6 core fears Hill says can, hold us back.
Right.
But knowing what they are,
Yeah.
it's only half the battle, right?
Absolutely.
Like, how do we actually overcome them?
Right.
What are some practical steps we can take?
I think Hill believed that knowledge without action is useless, right?
Oh, for sure.
So it's like having that treasure map,
Right.
but never setting out to actually find the treasure.
Okay, so where do we even begin?
Well, I think one of the first steps is just acknowledging the fear, right?
Right.
So don't try to push it away.
Okay.
Don't pretend it's not there.
Okay.
Name it, understand where it's coming from. Examine how it's holding you back.
Oh, okay. So like kind of like shining a light on the monster under the bed.
Exactly, yeah.
When you can see it,
Yeah.
it's less scary.
It's less scary.
Right.
Right. So then you challenge the fear.
Okay, so how do we challenge the fear?
Ask yourself,
Mm-hmm.
is this fear based on reality? Or is it just a story I'm telling myself?
Woo, I like that.
Oftentimes our fears are rooted in past experiences or limiting beliefs that just don't serve us anymore.
Right. So it's like we become detectives of our own minds, like really, really digging into those negative thoughts and questioning, are they even valid?
What evidence do you have?
Yeah, exactly. Are we letting our past failures dictate our future?
That's right.
We need to get curious about our thought patterns.
Exactly. And as you challenge those fears, you can start replacing them with positive affirmations.
Oh, okay.
So instead of saying, I can't do this, you say, I am capable, or I am willing to learn and grow, right?
Okay, so it's like consciously shifting our self-talk.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're training our minds to focus on the possibilities instead of the limitation.
Exactly.
And it goes back to like that whole power of thought thing, right?
It does. It all connects.
The more you feed those positive thoughts, the stronger they become.
Absolutely.
What about visualization?
Visualization's huge.
Right.
Yeah, so imagine yourself actually achieving your goals, overcoming those obstacles, living the life you want, create a vivid mental picture of success.
I've heard so many athletes talk about this, right?
Yeah.
Like visualizing winning a race or making that perfect shot.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like you're creating a mental movie of your success.
Your own success, yeah.
And then your mind starts to believe it's possible.
That's the key.
Right. And then, of course, taking action.
Oh, yeah. We can't forget about action.
Right.
That's huge.
Even small steps, right?
Small steps lead to big things.
They can build momentum. They can boost your confidence.
Exactly.
It's about proving to yourself that you're actually capable of moving forward.
You know that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Yeah, but sometimes that first step is the hardest.
It can be, especially when fear is holding you back.
Right, and so persistence is key.
Persistence is key. You got to keep going.
There will be setbacks, there will be challenges, but it's in those moments, right?
Yeah.
That our commitment is truly tested.
It really is.
So we got to get back up, dust ourselves off.
Don't give up.
Keep moving forward.
You got this.
It sounds like conquering fear is an ongoing journey. It's not a destination.
Absolutely. It's a process.
It's about challenging ourselves, pushing our boundaries,
grow,
learning from our experiences.
Every experience is a learning opportunity.
It makes me think back to that self-mastery idea.
Yeah.
It's not about being fearless.
No.
It's about having the tools and the mindset to navigate fear.
When it comes up.
Because it will.
It always does.
It always does. It's part of being human, right?
It is.
So I guess to sum it all up,
yeah.
Think and Grow Rich is telling us that our thoughts are super powerful.
Incredibly powerful.
And by harnessing that power, by cultivating a burning desire, embracing persistence, and conquering our fears,
that's the recipe.
We can unlock incredible potential within ourselves.
I truly believe that.
And it's not just about creating wealth, it's about creating a life.
Yeah.
Of purpose and fulfillment.
A life you love.
A life that you actually want to be living.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive.
It has.
I've learned a lot.
Me too.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And to all our listeners out there, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.